Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? This is Joe Figueroa with another video in our series Anatomy of a Dance, where I break down social dancing count for count, pointing out everything the dancers do. This week's video is going to be another How Do They Do It segment, a look at a single movement in dance that seems impossible or choreographed, but with a thorough understanding of basic salsa principles, it can be done. So take this time to subscribe and ring the bell because we're starting right now. So the Terry God Tier movement video started this wave of requests for breakdowns of things you guys see and can't figure out. Some of you have come up with some really good ones. And please, keep them coming. I love the challenge. I promise to address every single one of them. But for the most part, I'm going to do these in the order that they are received. Remember when I did that Panagiotis video back in March? Well, in that dance, I got a request for a breakdown of this movement.
What did you just do?
I have to admit, at first I was stumped, but then I did what I do, and I figured it out. Let's look at it again, shall we? Panagiotis brings Denisse into a side-by-side position from a hand flick. He requests one hand low and one high. For the follows, this is really just a back-led cross-body lead, putting both dancers side-by-side in a wrap position where the follow's left arm is wrapped low at her waistline. This isn't the movement, it's the setup for the movement. I'm just showing you what components you would need to have in place to attempt this. Here's where it gets interesting. Once the lead has the follow in position they need, the first thing you need to do, leads, is provide preparation for the follow. A back break would be best, but you could do other things, as long as the lead gives the follow a chance to prepare by back breaking on the follow's right as usual. Back on 1 if you're dancing on 1, back on 6 if you're dancing on 2. Got it? Anyway, from here the follow is performing a progressive or clockwise turn of type. The type is a double, so the follow accomplishes 2 full turns in the movement. Even in its simplest form, this is no small feat, but Panagiotis has made this way more difficult by making the follow step syncopated. That means that the beats in the music that do not usually have a step assigned, now have a step assigned. This usually manifests itself in the dancer stepping every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm going to show this on 1 for the moment. See, on 1, the follow usually steps 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. 4 is a pause, as is 8. But Panagiotis got Denisse to syncopate the entire count, but only perform turns during the end of it, like this. I'll do the follows first this time. What I'd like to point out to the follows here is how Denisse doesn't panic when Panagiotis creates a sudden tension in the handhold and seems to fly from her left side to her right. She just calmly takes her prep steps and then moves forward on her left 1 beat early. The likelihood is that she felt tension in the low arm hold, and that informed her that her turn would begin just 1 beat earlier than usual. In addition, notice that she doesn't bother to look to see where he is going or going to be. She relies on touch instead, going by what she feels in her handhold rather than what she sees in front of her. Like I always say in my classes, you don't have to go looking for something that is in your hand. Lastly, she follows the line provided. A good follow would move down the line almost imperiously, as if you are royalty walking down the red carpet. Anyone in your path better move. The path belongs to you. And the follow will find most answers to your questions on the path as you travel. So in most any situation in partner dance, use the line, the path, to your advantage. Now let's focus on how Panagiotis made it from one side of her to the other while leading her into this. Earlier I spoke about how he got her into position, both of them in a side-by-side position. He provides preparation while taking it for himself. Here is where Panagiotis and I are similar in how we dance. If I know that I'm about to attempt something difficult with a partner, I usually make the entrance into it, the movement before it, something simple. I feel like it makes it easier for the follow to execute the movement pristinely. They are dancing on 2. Once they are ready, Panagiotis back breaks on 6 and quickly steps forward on 7, then leaps across Denisse on the pickup of 1. That's the beat right before 1. In class I call this jumping the track. Panagiotis began on the left track of the follow. He then, in only 3 beats, jumps to the right track. This is extremely difficult to do and still provide the lead for this movement. But Panagiotis understands basic principles. Look at how he applies them here. Okay, this might seem like it doesn't apply, but I think it does. So just stay with me for a minute. Bruce Lee said, use no way as way, no limitations as limitations. It's the first part of that which applies here. Use no lead as lead. Sometimes providing the follow with no tension, no direction, is providing lead. It's like saying to the follow, stay the course. Do as you would normally do. Let's take a moment to look at something as forgettable as Panagiotis' handhold and apply one of my animal references again. The alligator mentality. The alligator doesn't let go of its bite to get a better bite. It knows that if it releases its hold, that prey is gone. Same thing applies in partner dance. Don't let your handhold go for a quote-unquote better hold. You will likely lose connection altogether. Instead, get a good hold to start with. Look here, Panagiotis has made his right hand connection with his palm and thumb facing down. Now one might take this moment here to readjust their hold. That will be a mistake, and unnecessary. Look here, as the progressive turn begins, Panagiotis' handhold is in the same position, palm and thumb facing down, away from her, so to speak. It's these little details that make a movement like this appear so smooth and effortless. Okay, moving on. Panagiotis gives Denisse the feeling that she is going to come out of this in a manner she is accustomed to. Then before she has a chance to react, he jumps the track. It's that choice that makes his movement so cool. Once he is on the right track at the end of her prep, he then gives her what I always say is next: direction. Normally, she would continue down the path provided. Despite Panagiotis leaping across the path, Denisse still starts down the path without a moment of hesitation. She doesn't pause for an instant. Part of this is because Panagiotis provided no lead as lead, but now the tension in the hands comes into play. What have I always told you about where lead comes from? It comes from the middle, like a rope tied around her waist. He uses his low handhold, his right, to guide her down the line, passing him and at the same time beginning her double turn. There is no break in hand connection here. The low handhold wrapped at her middle assures this. Now that her path is clear and there is no tension in the low handhold, the rest of this leads like a double progressive. In class, I tell the leads that if you are leading a progressive turn, then the lead needs to progress with the follow. Panagiotis moves down the line with her to keep her within his perimeter, something I spoke about in last week's video. Both turns are led over the head with both sets of hands. This is difficult because the leads need to be able to switch tension from one hand to the other rapidly. It's kind of like juggling. But leads notice how Panagiotis keeps the handholds right over the top of her head, making the turn appear effortless. For the follows, notice that Denisse keeps her arms relaxed, elbows down, arms in 90-degree angles. This is true following. If she were guessing as to what he was trying to do or assisting him even a little, you would see one or both elbows raised up. That's not the case here. She offers her partner surrender, trust that he knows what he's doing. But to take it a step further, Panagiotis' lead provides calm for his partners. He asks for trust with his hands no matter how quickly the rest of his body is moving. That is great technique. I like to think that I also provide trust when I take a partner's hand. I also exercise basic principles throughout any and every dance. And with that understanding, this was the result. Now, just like in the last How Did They Do It video, I'm going to give the same warning. Don't just try this without some practice. That's the point of these videos. Practice using this first. Then after you have a bit of understanding of what's happening, once you have tried it with multiple partners, then take it to the dance floor. Remember, you are watching professionals, dancers that spend hours a day developing understanding of movement, training their bodies to act and react in ways that seem second nature. Habit forming. Obsess over the small details. Art is not what you see, but what you make others see. I like to put out content that viewers benefit from, so any feedback you might be able to give me would be greatly appreciated. Comments, likes, and even dislikes will help me to provide you with the best content that I can. That's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, keep dancing.